Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are quick. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next lap is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can in one final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Drivers, start your engines.
And welcome in, folks, to another beautiful Saturday night of racing for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. We're just moments away from getting these drivers to get their shot and their chance at coming out of a win here at Kentucky Speedway. Excited for tonight's race. We've got, looks like, 14 drivers that are going to be taking the green flag here tonight. But first, let me introduce you to myself. I'm Oscar Jensen. I'll be bringing you the action here on Turn Sector Media for the race tonight, and I'll be along with you guys throughout the whole start to finish. Then, as this race starts to go on, it'll be pretty interesting to see how these drivers can manage their tires and how they can manage their overall speed. Let's go ahead quick and go down our starting lineup. Starting on the front row, we got Xavier Rugglebruggy and then Kenneth Lowry. Row number 2, we go back down to Jordan Hand and Landon Burbidge. Row number 3, we have Ryan Rose and Joshua Nunez. Going back to row number 4 here, we have Joseph Smith and Dylan Carrier. Row number 5, we'll go back to Michael Badra and then William Connolly. Row number 6 will be John Tiller and Ryan Holler. Row number 7 will go back to Christopher Stange and Dallas Stewart. And then rounding out the field in the final row will be Cody Blackmore. That'll be your 15 drivers there that are going to take the green flag. Remembering last week that we saw the Talladega duels, which saw 2 different winners, one being Dylan Carrier and the other being John Tiller. These drivers looking to come out of here with a win. Carrier and Tiller are going to have to start a little bit further back in the race tonight, as Ruggles, Brugge, and Lowry will make up the front row here and take the green flag in just a moment. Pace car is off. Ruggles, Brugge getting set to lead the field to green. Into the restart zone, green flag in the air. We're off and racing from Kentucky Speedway. Fanning out for the time being in the middle of the pack here. You've got Jordan Hand leading that second place group. Behind him, he's got a mess of Smith and Lowry. Then also Landon Burbage right there as well. Now my pick for tonight, before we get too far into this thing, I'm going to go with Landon Burbage in the number 2 here. I think he has a shot at getting it done in tonight's race. Right now, currently running in that 5th position. And keep an eye out for him on these long runs. We saw him have a few good past couple of weeks, but also have some down races here and there as well. So looking to put himself in victory lane for the first time this season. We'll see if he can do it here tonight. Hand now under pressure for that second spot from Joseph Smith. Smith looking to make a run on Hand, but loses it off of 4 there. Now that's going to open the door for Kenneth Lowry to take a look to his outside. Landon Burbage right there behind them as well, looking to make a pounce. You've seen Hand be fairly consistent up towards the top 5 all season long. Again, kind of like Landon Burbage, knocking on the back door of maybe getting himself into victory lane right now. Looking strong in second position. Xavier in front has pulled away by almost a second, I'd say, and really kind of not putting too much of a drive between himself and the rest of the field. Just trying to maintain his speed, but also not wanting to abuse those tires too much. Which, I mean, when you have clean air like this, that's really best case scenario to be able to do. Just kind of set down your lap times that you need to set and just kind of slowly start to pull away and put more distance between the rest of the field, as they're still trying to work around Jordan Hand here for second. Hand's done a fantastic job at hanging on to it. Lowry now trying to try and build a run up on that second lane, but he's still got Joseph Smith to the inside. Lowry and Smith trying to battle it out to see which one of those drivers can work themselves around Jordan Hand. Now it looks like Lowry is able to get the run off the exit and clear himself in front of Smith, but just as I say that now, Smith may be looking to see what that 35 used a lap ago and working that outside lane. He's going to get besides the 35 now down the back straightaway. They're going to be in a dead even drag race as they head into 3 and 4. Landon Burbage right there as well, trying to get into the mix. We'll see what that 2 car can do here. Lap 8 coming to lap 9 this time by. Smith with the great turn 1 and 2, able to close back on the back bumper of Jordan Hand there. Not sure if he'll get a shot in 3. We'll see what he decides to do. Dives down low, not there quite enough. That's going to open up the door for Landon Burbage. We'll see if Burbage decides to pounce on that or if he just tries to stay in line. Looks like he might be trying to get to the outside, but doesn't really want to force it too aggressively. Again, it's still early in this race, and you don't need to be super aggressive to make a pass right now. And let's actually pull up that race analysis real quick. So 150 laps on the race tonight, 219 miles in total. Stage 1 will be at the end of 75. Then the final stage will also be 75 laps. Pit road speed, 45 miles an hour, and 5 sets of tires for these drivers. And like I talked about earlier, my winner pick is going to be Landon Burbage in the number 2 machine. So some thoughts that these guys will have to go through their mind is how aggressive can they be, but also how much do they need to save. He will more than likely need to make a green flag pit stop in this race at one point, or at least at one point in the race if it continues to go green, which can be very difficult for some drivers. We've already seen this season some of these drivers have some sort of issue on pit road and either loses them the chance at a win or a shot at a good finish. Burbage now trying to work himself into third. He's got the outside run, able to clear Smith off the floor. So Burbage moves himself up to third for the time being. We'll see if he can track down Jordan Hand in front of him, who has continued to hang on to that second position since the drop of the green flag. Ruggelbrugge maintaining that pace that we saw about 5 laps ago. Again, not really wanting to push the issue too early on and wants to use that clean air to his advantage as best he can. Now 2 of the winners from last week, Dylan Carrier here in the 54. And then John Tiller in the 27, a bit in front of him. Both wanting to have a good run here tonight. And it was pretty exciting to talk to Carrier last week in race 1 at Talladega. Definitely sounded like this could have been a turning point in this season for the 54 machine and team. We'll see if he can come out with another strong finish here tonight. And as we look in front of him at the other race winner from last week, John Tiller in the 27, you know, kind of similar situation. Just kind of, you know, having that turning point as well. We think this could be a huge momentum boost going into Kentucky here tonight. And right now he's holding on to 8th. Maybe needing to find a little bit more speed out of this race car to move himself into the top 5. But still doable and still plenty of time left to go in this race. Like I said, 150 laps on tonight's race, and we're only 16 laps into it. Now, something interesting that has happened these past couple of laps is Jordan Hand and Landon Burbage Joseph Smith, they've closed down that gap on Xavier Rugglebrugge. It was at about 0.8 of a second there. Now it's down to about half a second. So the speed, I'm not quite sure if maybe Rugglebrugge is backing it down a bit, trying to, again, not trying to overstep his boundaries, or if maybe he's struggling a bit here early on in this race. Top 4 single file for the time being. They're trying to chase down Xavier Rugglebrugge. Hand's going to lead that charge, and Landon Burbage back there in third, followed by Joseph Smith. Smith having an outstanding season so far. He's got 3 wins on the season. And then Xavier also having a great start to his season, currently holding 2 wins. We'll see if maybe he can get his third there tonight as Burbage taps that outside wall coming off of 4. That's going to stall him out and allow Joseph Smith to get to the outside of him, but they've caught Jordan Hand as well. So Burbage, I think, might have gotten into that dirty air, being behind Hand, still able to carry some momentum as they head down the back straightaway here, but they're going to have a tough task at hand trying to get around Hand in the 48. Hand's been able to defend off every one of these drivers so far who has tried to take that second place away. And with that bobble now, Burbage moves himself back to 4th. Smith was able to get on by. Now Smith going to try and take a look to the inside of Jordan Hand. We'll see what he can do here in 3. Gets a good run into 3. We'll see if maybe he can get the exit off. It's really hard to get that power in that run off on the bottom side in 3 and 4. Able to get a good run down the front straightaway here again. Trying to take another look to the inside. Not quite sure if it'll be enough boost. Works the high side here in 1 and 2 to try and replicate what he did 1 lap ago, and that was to get a good run on the middle lane of 1 and 2, then send it into the bottom in 3 and 4. This time searches a little bit higher instead of lower. Maybe he loses a bit of time trying to search for that clean air as well, as it looks like he's lost about half a car length back to Jordan Hand. Landon Burbage still, even with that wall tap, has remained strong and has maintained that speed, only giving up 1 spot so far to Joseph Smith. Just such a hard and difficult place to pass here at Kentucky. I mean, two kind of separate bankings on this racetrack. We'll take a look here in a second. We'll ride on board with Smith around this lap. As you can see, as they head into 3 and 4, a little bit wider, a little bit more shallow / less banked as you get to that inside groove. As he runs right here, it's also a little bit more bumpy, which is something that you have to watch out for. Tries to use a bit of that apron as well, but that apron not a good usage like we see at some of these other mile-and-a-half tracks. And then you see in 1 and 2, you can definitely get the power down a little bit more in 1 and 2, having that ability to maybe lift just a bit through the corner center and then being able to pounce back on it for corner exit. But 3 and 4, just such a hard pass. I mean, you see it right there. He had a lift once he hit that dirty air in that wake from that 48 car. Just not able to get the power down like he needs to do. Burbage falling a little bit further back, losing another about car length-ish. Again, you had that hit on that outside wall that might have given him a bit of a scare and could have potentially messed up a bit of aero. And once he gets his stage, I'm sure he'll probably reset mentally and be able to continue doing what he was doing there for those first 15 laps. Dylan Carrier takes a look to the inside. John Tiller, Carrier, again, those two winners from last week going at it for 8th position. A big pinch there from Tiller, trying to keep Carrier from passing him. Contact made for just a second. They're going to remain in a dead even drag race here down the front straightaway. Carrier sends it in to the low side. Now he'll be able to clear up in front of Tiller and take that 8th position away. But Tiller looks back to the crossover. Will he be able to make it stick? And what will Dylan do here in 3 and 4? Will he give room? Yes, he will. So choosing not to pinch that 27 like the 27 did to him, but he'll be able to hang on to that 8th position in that bright green 54 as he works around William Connolly here in 1 and 2, working that higher lane. John Tiller way up against the wall, so is Ryan Haller back there. Might have actually tagged that outside wall just a bit. That's going to stall Ryan and allow Christopher Stange to take a look to the inside. A bad 1 and 2 right there for Ryan. We'll see what he does here in 3 and 4. Running way up against that outside wall. We'll see if he has to live out. More contact made for Ryan in this 19. Trying to find some speed, but right now it's not working out for him. Oh, a bobble right there from Christopher. Trying to get to the quarter of Ryan, and a great save, but now losing that time that he had gained on Ryan after Ryan's few mistakes there. Getting pressure from his teammate Michael Badra, and then also Cody Blackmore right there ready and waiting to pounce as well. Now Blackmore taking a look to the inside. He's going to get around Stange. Stange might have had a bit of a moment there that could have forced himself into not wanting to upset those that handling on that race car any more than what had happened with that big slide. Now losing that position, the 12th position to Blackmore, who looks like he's going to stay in tow with Stange, but Stange still trying to fight back and maybe gather it up a bit still. And Ryan looks like he's been able to kind of settle back into a groove, moving from that super high side to a little bit off that wall into that middle lane to lower lane as well. Realizing that maybe that experience that he was trying to get up in that high side wasn't working quite as good for him. Now running the regular sort of a line that we see these drivers take around here, as Carrier right in front, continuing to charge up to 6th place. And then up at the front, Jordan Hand is closed back on the back bumper of Xavier Rogelbrugge for the race lead. Hand doing a great job right now at staying in tow, not letting that dirty air affect him too much. Looks low to maybe get some clean air on that front nose as they head into 1 and 2, and running about half a lane lower. Again, trying to get that clean air to help him turn on corner entry. Jordan Hand trying so hard to build a run on Xavier. He's been able to close it down to about 2 car lengths, but hasn't been able to close it down more than that. Xavier just trying to take away all that clean air that he possibly can and trying to hang on to the race lead for the time being. And then meanwhile, back in 3rd place, Joseph Smith, who we thought would be one of those good cars as well. Again, having those, having this breakout season so far with those 3 wins. He's about 1.5 seconds back from those 2 in front, trying to close down. And this is really where we see this 31 come to life and shine the best, is these long runs. That's where he's able to find his speed and really get into a rhythm and then contend for the race lead right before these green flag pit stops occur. We'll see if it can work out for him here tonight, as he continues to lose a little bit continues to lose a bit more time that last lap to these 2 in front of him. Now Xavier going to dive down on the pit road. He's going to come to the attention of his pit crew. We'll see if anybody follows. Right now, though, it looks like it's going to be just Xavier Ruggle-Bruggy from those top 5 positions. I think this is a little bit early for a scheduled pit stop, although we'll see if any of these drivers come down this time by, which I would not be surprised if he drags down some of these other drivers. Jordan Hand doesn't look like he's going to come down pit road this time by. Smith, though, looks like he's going to come down here. Gets it woed down with no issues. Landon Burbridge stays out. He's going to move up to 2nd. Ryan and Dylan Carrier as well staying out. Ryan Rose came down pit road there. But Jordan Hand up at the front right now, continuing to lead the way, deciding to stay out a bit longer than those 2 around him were. Now he's going to work his way on the pit road. Nice and easy, no speeding when he comes down to pit road speed here, which will then collect some other drivers on pit road as well. Landon Burbridge, Dylan Carrier, Ryan Holler. I believe John Tiller is right there in the mix as well. So the bigger group of drivers here coming down pit road that are going to make their service. At least looks like 6 cars coming to the attention of their pit crew.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are lit. Don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out.
Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag has been ended.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You gotta say no, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Drivers, start your engines.
Check. All right, well, we should be back here, folks. I'm sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened. Looks like the timing and scoring is not updating currently, so we'll get that fixed here at the stage break. Right now, though, Xavier Rugglebruggy finding himself out front after those green flag cycle pit stops. And again, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm having some issues here with trying to get the timing and scoring to correctly work. So once we get the stage break here in a second, we will take a look at that and get it back up as quickly as we can. Joseph Smith moving himself into second position right now. Jordan Hand losing a bit of time on that green flag cycle, finding himself moving back to third as he just got past Joseph Smith. And I'm trying to switch the cameras as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on here with iRacing. Just give me a second, folks. We'll try and get this figured out as quickly as possible. All right, I believe I should have some of this working. It's still going to be a second for the timing and scoring to correctly be able to work, but the battle continuing to build up here for a second position. Jordan Hand, Joseph Smith going at it off of two. Jordan Hand slides right up in front of Joseph Smith, taking back that second position. Smith not having the speed that we're used to here tonight. Now going to lose that position and move back to third, losing a bit of ground there through 3 and 4 as well. That gap now separated between second and third by about two to 3 car lengths as they come into 1 and 2. Still trying to chase down our race leader, Xavier Rugglebrugge, who has continued to lead the way so far. And after seeing Jordan Hand go up there and put a little bit of pressure on that number 5 car, we'll see if he can repeat what he did before those green flag pit stops happen. These drivers should be good to the end, though, and will not need to make a green flag stop before the end of this first stage. Again, that first stage being 75 laps, and then the second stage being also another 75 laps. So they will more than likely need to make a green flag pit stop in that second portion of this race. But so far, we've seen it go green all the way, which, again, if you're a driver like Joseph Smith or Xavier Rugglebrugge, this is what you like to see. Landon Burbidge has fallen back to 5th. Ryan Rose has moved himself in front of Burbidge, who Burbidge, again, having that contact with that outside wall earlier on, trying to rebound and maybe having a little bit of a longer stop, trying to just make sure that everything was okay on that car under that pit stop. But Burbidge still holding strong, running inside the top 5. Ryan looking to the inside of William Connolly here for 7th. Those two have been going at it for these past couple of laps. Ryan trying to work himself inside the top 7 after being inside the top 10 for the majority of the night. Remember, we saw him exploring up a bit higher there, up towards the wall, and didn't really work out for him. But now looks like he's been able to find his groove and his speed, as it sounded like there was some sort of issue there for a second with some sort of driver. Not quite sure if that was anything related to any of these drivers, but Ryan, I mean, can't talk enough about Ryan. Again, you see him working up against this high side in 1 and 2. Not quite still working out for him. Loses a bit more time. He's going to fall back into the clutches of Kenneth Lowry. We'll see what he does here in 3 and 4. Not going up too high, trying to keep that momentum built. Oh, some slight contact right there, trying to stay off of that 19. William loves what he's seeing, though. These two fighting side by side behind him. That's going to allow him to just kind of settle into a groove. Now Ryan with a great run here. Takes a look to the inside off of 4 under William Connolly. These two going to be going at it down the front straightaway. What can William do as they head into 1 and 2? A great run by Ryan. He's going to be able to clear himself for just a second, and he's going to take that 7th position away. So Ryan now up to 7th. Connolly back to 8th. Lowry looking to take that position away, though, from Connolly right in front of him. Connolly, the last thing that he wants to do is have to defend another race car off, but he's got his mirror full of this 35, who's continued to put pressure on not only the 20 but also the 19, and these 3 drivers all under a blanket trying to get every point that they can. Ryan again trying to just do what he's been doing all night and exploring a bit, but also maintaining the track position that he needs. Back up at the front, Xavier Rugglebrugge gonna be here leading the way at lap 63, coming to 64 this time by Jordan Hand and Joseph Smith. Right behind in second and third, trying to track down this 5 machine who has led this whole race so far. Again, I'll try and get this timing and scoring up as quickly as possible. Right now, does not look like it's updating, so just give me a few more seconds here. Again, if I can't get it fixed under the green flag here, then I will get it fixed when we get that stage break here in about 10 laps. All right, well, it looks like I was able to get it up and running here so we can get it back on. The condition of the race, though, does not look like it's going to be updating right now. We'll see if we can get that fixed. Again, at the stage break here, hopefully we can get everything sorted out. But for the time being, we do have an updated and working timing and scoring for you guys. Apologize for that, and not quite sure what happened there, but everything seems to be fine now, and these drivers going to continue to work around here. Dylan Carrier looking to the outside of Ryan Rose in that 78 machine on the inside. They're going to be side by side heading into 1 and 2. Landon Burbage right in front of them, hanging on to that 4th position. Carrier not able to get the job done there off of 2. Now to the back bumper, that 78 here, maybe trying to send him in a bit deeper so that he can get a good run here off of 4. Side by side once again here. Dylan Carrier looks like he's going to have a better run here through 1 and 2 and slide up in front of the 78. So Ryan Rose now moves back to 6th. Carrier moves himself into the top 5, but not too soon. Ryan Rose now takes a look to the inside, but a shallow and narrow entry isn't going to allow him to hang on to it. He's going to have to go back to work and fall back behind this 54 of Dylan Carrier, who again, after building up momentum from the win at Talladega last week in race number 1, could be a threat here later in this race. Once we see that stage at lap 75, he could put himself in contention to put a run for the money here at the very end. The top 3 currently separated by about a second between each one of these drivers. Jordan Hand still trying to track down Xavier Rugglebrugge as Xavier works past the 40 of Joshua Nunez. Nunez going down 1 lap right there. Dallas Stewart having an early exit to tonight's race. He's going to be out behind the wall, scored in 15th. The Michael Badra there, currently out on track, 3 laps down, has a bit of ground that he'll need to make up and will need some lucky breaks as well, sitting in 14th. So a little unusual night as well. We're going to continue to talk about Joseph Smith here in the 31. 3 wins on the season. We really see him shine at these 1.5 miles. Pretty much every track as he gets the wall right there off of 4 a bit. But a little surprised that he's not able to carry this long run speed that we've seen him carry all throughout the season so far. He finds himself 2.5 seconds back behind Xavier Rugglebrugge. Not the worst case scenario though for this 31. I mean, you're running 3rd. You obviously have at least a shot at the win if you can figure out a little bit more speed inside that race car. But just a little surprised that it's not the speed that we see out of this 31 machine. Jordan Hand in this 48, continuing to hold it down. This second place position pretty well. Hasn't really let anybody by him for second, and we saw some earlier long run speed out of this 48 car. We'll see if he can close back on the 5 Xavier Rugglebrugge. We're just a few laps away though from seeing the stage caution at the end of lap 75. And these drivers will more than likely come down pit road here and get their 4 fresh tires and fuel. And I would be very surprised if we did see a driver decide to not come down pit road here, knowing that we still have at least another 75 laps to go, or about a little bit less than that when we do get the green flag. So not really going to allow a lot of strategy to be played into this halfway mark. But if we do see a caution here, it could definitely play into a factor and change some things up. And just as I say that, Ryan Rowe is going to work his way down pit road. William Connolly right behind him as well. I don't want to say too focused on pit road, because apparently last time we looked at pit road for a bit longer, everything went horrible. So we're going to minimize our shot on pit road there a bit. So Xavier Rugglebrugge works his way off before coming to the start-finish line, and he's going to be able to collect the stage win here tonight. Jordan Hand's going to find himself in second, Smith in third, Burbage, Carrier fourth and fifth, and Ryan Holler, a great run right there, finding himself in sixth position, and the caution's going to come out for the stage here, which again will allow these drivers to come down pit road here, get their fresh set of tires and their 2 cans of fuel, and then be able to reset them for the last part of this race. So Xavier going to work his way around, catch up to the pace car. These guys are going to come down to the attention of their pit crew. Nunez just going down a lap there after making his pit stop just a few moments ago, before we saw that stage caution going to come around, and he'll be able to get the free pass, I believe. Other drivers also going to take a wave around. I believe the William Connolly in the 20 is going to come down or come around and get his lap back. I think Ryan Rose also going to be one of those drivers as well. Michael Badra still currently sitting 2 laps down, but will, I think, possibly, depending on how he wants to play it out, could get a lap back, but I would be surprised if he does decide to get a lap back. The race off pit road going to have Xavier Rugglebrugge coming out and maintaining that top position. Joseph Smith, a great pit stop there for this 31. Also, Landon Burbage moves up to that 3rd position here. Jordan Hand, though, the biggest loser in this. He's going to be back to 10th position, losing a lot of ground here. Not quite sure what went wrong with that 48 on this pit stop, but everybody else gonna have a great pit stop, or did have a great pit stop, and were able to move themselves up at least one spot. Others maybe a couple other spots. Ryan gonna be able to restart this race in fourth. Landon Burbridge gonna restart in third. Smith's gonna be on the outside of Rugglebruggy, and then John Tiller now gonna be the last driver in that fifth to round out the top five. Cody Blackmore right behind in sixth, and Christopher Stange in seventh. Our restart in just a moment here as Rugglebruggy and Smith will lead the field to green, and this is what we've seen a lot throughout this season so far. The 5 and the 31 dueling it out at the end of these races. We'll see if maybe Smith can figure out something on this restart and get in front of Rugglebruggy, who has been dominating so far in tonight's race. Landon Burbridge gonna have a shot at a good restart as well, as he starts behind our race leader. Ryan could put some of that exploring to use and on this restart and maybe move himself up a spot or two as well. We've seen him not be shy and go up, way up the racetrack to find some speed. We'll see what he decides to do on this restart. Pace car going to make its way off the racetrack field now in the hands of Xavier Rugglebruggy. Joseph Smith to his outside, rolling on into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air from Kentucky. A great start by Xavier. Another great start by Landon, trying to put pressure on Smith for a second. Not able to get the run though. He's going to have to slot in behind Smith for the time being. Ryan maintaining fourth for the time being, but he's got John Tiller taking a look to his inside. Side by side through 1 and 2, heading down the back straightaway. It's going to be a dead even drag race here. Tiller with that low line hauler, though, with the runoff exit here. He's got Cody Blackmore behind him, giving a bit of a push. Now Wiggles behind him. Ryan able to hang on to that spot for the time being. He's going to allow these guys behind to battle it out. Dylan Carrier, Cody Blackmore, John Tiller, Christopher Stange, all going at it for 5th and 6th. Blackmore trying to gain some positions here on this restart, this vital restart that he needs. Working to the outside of the 27. Still maintaining a good line through 1 and 2. Onto the back straightaway. Blackmore, though, fighting strong on that middle lane, that outside lane. Washes up a bit. That could open the door for Dylan Carrier, who looks to spoil the party, maybe make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it now. Gonna push the back bumper of the 84 down the front straightaway here. Again, I apologize. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the timing and scoring here, and why we have an update from caution to green flag racing, but I will make sure I let you guys know if we do get a caution. But right now, it looks like it's not going to be updating, unfortunately, and I don't quite know what's going on, but the attention is on the battle here for 6th. Carrier still trying to get around Blackmore. Moved himself around Tiller. Jordan Hand back there in the mix, trying to make up some lost ground after that cycle, or after that pit stop under the stage caution here. Has yet to gain ground. He's working on getting around Kenneth Lowry for 9th, but restarted in 10th. Blackmore not able to get a run there off of Ford to maintain his speed with carrier. That allowed John Tiller to get to the outside, and now if John can have a good 1 and 2, he should be able to clear the 84 down this straightaway, but Blackmore fighting strong. These guys have been going at it for the 6th position for the past handful of laps. Have yet to try and figure out which one of these drivers is going to be able to maintain as they beat and bang behind. Hand washes up, Stange into the wall. Slight contact now, trying to work his way down the track onto pit road. Heartbreak here for Christopher Stange after receiving that contact with Jordan Hand. Jordan Hands trying to gain every position that he can on this restart. Unfortunately, making contact with that 29 and sending that 29 into the outside wall. We'll go back and take a look at it here. The contact between Hand sent it in pretty deep, trying to get around the 29 of Christopher Stange, and then contact right there forced Stange out the groove and just was not able to get that car turned, and then at the very last second made a decision to come down pit road, which could have been a lot worse from what it was. Cut down right in front of traffic, which again, like I said, could have been very bad, but thankfully didn't get hit by anyone. Hand now working to the top side of Cody Blackmore. Blackmore had the lift there. He's going to give up that position to Jordan Hand, who now moves himself into 8th and sets his sights on Kenneth Lowry. Right in front of them, Dylan Carrier running 4th right now. He's got a handful of Ryan Holler and John Tiller right behind him. Holler, a great run, tries to dive to the inside down the front straightaway. Not able to carry that momentum though. We'll see what Ryan can do here in 1 and 2. Again, just not able to get that run built up. Now peeks to the inside. We'll see if he decides to send it in 3 and 4, and it looks like he will. We'll see if Ryan can make it stick. We haven't seen that bottom lane be able to make it stick so far here tonight. Again, not able to make it stick though. Now he's gonna fall into the hands of John Tiller. I do like the move from Ryan. If you've got to run, you know, go for it. Try and force that other driver into a mistake rather than just sit there. And unfortunately though, because of that, it's now going to force Ryan into a position to where he has to defend off the 27 of John Tiller. Yeah, not going to have the preferred groove right there. Contact made between those two drivers. Tight racing. Almost trouble for those two drivers. Just a little bit of a beat in banging right there through 3 and 4. No harm, no foul though. Rubbing is racing, and these two drivers trying to determine this 6th position, this 5th and 6th position out. Back up front, Xavier Rugglebrugge continuing to maintain the race lead. He's got Joseph Smith behind him in second. Landon Burbage in third has fallen back a little bit. Still maintaining that third position though, but has fallen off of the top two here. Smith, like we talked about in the first portion of this race, a little bit surprised with what that long run speed was looking like, but right now looking pretty strong here. We're just a few laps away from closing in on 50 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. Still anticipating another round of green flag pit stops here in about, I'd say, 20 to 30-ish laps is when we'll probably see these guys come down pit road. Maybe try and break up this last section of the race up, again, like we saw them do in stage one. Now if you're Xavier Rugglebrugge, you're going to have to try and counter what Joseph Smith in that 31 does. You don't want him to come down pit road too far ahead of you, and you don't want to give up that track position as well. So the 5 crew definitely going to have some work to cut out for them here on this green flag pit stop. And all Smith really wants to do is just to really catch this 5 car off of its toes and catch them by surprise when he decides to make his way down pit road. If he can just undercut by even a lap or two, that could give him the advantage that he needs out on track, as he has a great 1 and 2 right there. Still trying to search high in 3 and 4. We haven't seen a lot of searching in 3 and 4 work. Loses a little bit of ground there that he just made up in 1 and 2. So now that gap gonna go back to about 2 car lengths. Smith continuing to hound it down to this 5 of Xavier Rugglebrugge. These two have put on a fantastic show all season long. They've been trying to get in front of one another and show which one of them is the one and only championship favorite. Not that there is one specific championship favorite, but they want to put themselves in front of the other and be able to determine which one of them will be the force to stop. And Xavier one win behind Smith right now, trying to hang on so that he can tie it up with Joseph Smith for these wins on the season. But Smith having some great speed here on this run so far. We'll have to see what it looks like here in about 10 laps. We didn't see this speed out of Smith in the earlier portion of this race, so we really don't know too much about what Smith can do now that he kind of has a little bit better track position. Landon Burbage, he's going to have a handful here. You can see all those cars behind him looking to get their shot at moving around Burbage. Burbage now going to have the 54 of Dylan Carrier work himself on by, looking to maybe make the crossover here down this front straightaway. Side drafting hard off of 2 or 4, and now short in hand with a power move to the outside. They're going to be 3 wide as they head into 1. Backs it off just a bit. Doesn't want to put himself in a bad position, but that's going to allow these 2 drivers to be just a bit slower. FX contact there. 3 wide once again. That could hurt Burbage. Definitely hit him in a vital spot on that race car with that contact being made. Able to hang on to that 3rd place now, but that could definitely damage that race car in that aero. Carrier trying to get another run built up. He's all over the back bumper here off of 2. So close, able to get that run right at the last second. He's going to take a look to the inside, trying to get himself back around Burbage here. Will he be able to clear up this time around? Yes, he will. But will Burbage be able to make another crossover? I don't think he's close enough this time, though. So Burbage not able to make the crossover, moving that 54 like he did. He's going to now fall into the clutches of Jordan Hand. Burbage running that higher line, trying to get back around the 54, but also trying to hang on as Jordan Hand just slightly crosses in front of that 2 and takes that spot away. A close call right there, but he was able to make it stick. So Jordan Hand now moving himself into 4th. Burbage falls back to 5th, and he's got at least 3 other drivers behind him that want a shot at a top 5. That group right now being led by Ryan Holler. John Taylor trying to get that position away, though. I think Kenneth Lowry is right back there behind those 2 drivers as well. So Landon Burbage falling back, losing 2 spots in the past couple of laps. He's going to need to find some speed and maintain this track position until he can get back onto pit road and get some fresher tires. The top 2 have pulled away from the rest of the pack here. You saw from that shot how big of a distance they had, about 4.5 seconds over 3rd place on back. So definitely having some found speed for this 5 in the 31. The 31 losing a bit more time here. We're kind of curious as to what Smith would look like about 10 laps ago, and well, we're kind of seeing that speed fall off a little bit more as these laps continue to wind down. Oh, more contact made right there between the 19 and the 27. Ryan's just gotten a handful these past couple of laps. Trying to hang on to 7th. He's got Kenneth Lowry right behind him. Ryan doing a great job tonight, though. I mean, running inside the top 10 for majority of the night. This wouldn't be a disappointing run if he's able to hang on to where he's at, although I'm sure he would want to move himself into that 5th, maybe even 6th position. He's looking good right now, and he needs to find a little bit more long run speed. These guys in front of him looking like they might have saved a bit more tire than this 19 did, which is really being the biggest factor right now. Who saved the most tires and who wore them out early in that run? Carrier and Hand switching positions here. Hand moving himself back into 3rd. Carrier now going to come down pit road. Remember, Hand restarted after the stage caution at lap 75 in 10th. So having a great run here on this long run, making those positions back up, but it could be too little too late. He's 4.5 seconds back behind Smith and Regelbrugge, who have continued to just put some really good lap times down. Hand's going to need to have a good pit stop here and not lose ground like he did under caution there. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break here. You guys won't miss a thing, though. We're going to be side by side. This is the National Stock Car iRacing's Sorry, National Stock Car iRacing Series. We'll be right back with you guys.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough?
A dominant performance.
Gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody's pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Welcome back in, folks, to the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Winding down the laps here from Kentucky Speedway. Right now, Dylan Carrier leading the way after green flag pit stops have begun. Again, I apologize that the timing and scoring is currently not showing the right racing conditions. We are at green flag right now, and well, coming up on just about 25 laps to go in this race. We were wondering what Smith would do, and well, he undercut that strategy by a bit. He came down 2 laps sooner than Xavier Rugglebruggian. And right now, he's going to be out in front of Xavier by, I'd say, quite a bit. It's only about 3 seconds, but that can be a big time to have to make up under green flag conditions. And we did talk about this being a possibility of the 31 team trying to get on the pit road and catch that 5 off guard, and well, that's kind of what they did, and that's not only going to give Smith the advantage here, but if he can go down and chase down Dylan Carrier, it would make it a lot harder for Xavier to come down and try and catch that 31 machine as these laps continue to wind down. It's just going to be harder and harder for Xavier to make that ground up, but all eyes are right now on this 54 machine of Dylan Carrier leading the way, trying to get around Joshua Nunes in front of him. Nunes not having the night that he wants to have go his way. Currently remaining on the lead lap in that 9th position, but in jeopardy of going a lap down, and this could also play into a factor as to how Carrier has to manage the laps here in with dealing with this lap traffic. That dirty air is definitely going to be a factor, and that could slow him up just a bit to where Joseph Smith could catch him if he's not able to get around the 40 car here soon. There is about a 3 to 4 lap difference, I believe it is. It's 4 laps, I believe, by looking at it. Yeah, it's 4 lap. It's a 4 lap difference on tires from this 54 to the 31. So Joseph will be quicker for sure. You can kind of see that starting to happen with how he's able to close back on the back bumper of this 54 car, but you have to be able to get back around this 54, which passing out this track, we've already seen it be a difficult task to do. "26 laps to go." We'll be coming to 25 laps to go. This time by Smith is here. He's taking a look to the inside of Dylan Carrier, and he needs to make this pass as quickly as possible, because the more time he spends, the more time that's going to allow Xavier Rugglebrugge to close back in on the back bumper of the 31. 31 with a nice run in 3 and 4, able to get in front of this 54 and clear himself. So now Smith's going to take over the race lead. Rugglebrugge about a second back with a little bit fresher tires. He has to waste no time getting around this 54 either. We'll ride on board with Xavier here for a lap. See what he says. See what he can do here. Into the outside of Dylan. Should be able to have this run down the back straightaway and clear himself for second. So now, can Xavier catch Joseph Smith? That's been the question for Smith all night. Can he catch the 5 car? Now the roles are reversed. Can Xavier catch Smith? I think he can catch him. It's going to be a matter of how long it takes him to catch Smith and what this lap traffic in front of him does. Xavier definitely has the speed that we've kind of seen him build up this season, and he's about half a second back, trying to reel in this 31 for what will be the race win and his 3rd win on the season. If Smith can hang on, it would be his 4th. The laps continuing to wind down, that gap between 1st and 2nd continuing to shrink even more. Xavier doing all that he can. He sees the 31 in sight. Another 10th chopped off of that race lead. Running a bit lower, trying to get some clean air on that front nose, which is really going to help out this 5 car. Smith, though, trying to take away the line that this 5 car has been running. It's going to be very interesting to see what Smith can do with this run that we're going to see until the end. That's about 35 laps in that range. And that's about the 30 lap mark is when we've seen Joseph Smith really start to struggle and not have as much speed as Xavier Rugglebuggy has. But if the roles are reversed and Smith can find something in clean air, that could be a tough task at hand for this 5 car to try and trace down. Again, not closing as much distance that last lap, still hanging on to what it was, but hasn't lost any time. The 40 car of Joshua Nunez right in front, maintaining that lead lap position. He's going to have these leaders come up on him pretty quick, though. And boy, look at what this has done. That's allowed Xavier Rugglebuggy to close back into the back bumper. They're going to work around Joshua Nunez, and that's going to stall out Smith just enough. Xavier Rugglebuggy going to have to change his line a bit into the entry of 1 and 2 as well, though. So it's now down to 2/10. 2 car lengths separates 1 and 2. With under 20 laps to go. Smith trying to hang on for his 4th win. Xavier trying to get his 3rd. Dylan Carrier falling back out of the picture. He's 3 seconds back. Probably won't have a shot to win this unless we see a caution happen. Landon Burbage holding down 4th. He could possibly get to that 54 in these next 17 laps and move himself into that 3rd position, but he'll need to pull away from Ryan Holler, who is all over this back bumper. And we look at this battle for 4th real quick. Burbage hanging on to a good top 5 run so far. Having a few hiccups through the night is Burbage. Ryan kind of just finding his own pace here at the very end. Had a little bit of struggles there in that first 75 laps. Now finding what he needs to round out this race, and if this thing goes green, he could work himself as well into this maybe 4th or 3rd position, depending on how he manages the rest of this race. Coming to 14 laps to go this time by Xavier, still trying to find his way around Joseph Smith for the top spot. Separated by a 2-lap tire difference. Xavier should have the tire advantage, but he doesn't have the clean air advantage anymore, which is really going to play into effect here. If I'm Xavier Rugglebuggy, you know Smith is going to be a little bit slower here. You know where his weak points are. You know where you are quicker as well. He lost a bit of ground right there through 1 and 2 to Smith. See him searching a bit higher that time in 3 and 4, losing a 10th. Burbage and Hall are going at it here for 4th. Those two trying to chase down Dylan Carrier in front of them. Landon's doing a great job so far to hang on to 4th. Looks like Randy Rose also has moved his car behind the wall and will be out of the race. That's going to have 7 cars on the lead lap. A handful of them a lap down. Jordan Hand, after having such a great night to the early part of this race, finding himself 2 laps down, currently in 10th. Not what he's wanted to have happen here in this last part of the race. But the eyes are once again on the battle for the race lead. Rugglebruggy closing in on Smith here with 10 laps to go. Able to find a little bit of speed these past couple of laps. Again, the question is, though, will he be able to make himself find a way around Joseph Smith for the top spot? Smith has done everything that he's needed to take away that clean air from Xavier. Another good 1 and 2 there for Xavier. 3 and 4 is where it really struggles to keep maintaining that time. And once again, not able to gain anything there in 3 and 4, just maintaining that distance. But that's really all you need to do. If you can have a good 1 and 2 and close up onto that back bumper and maybe make a move, that could be your shot at the race win. Another good entry there for Xavier. Seven laps to go this time by at the line. Xavier right there just trying to get to the back bumper of that 31 and maybe get him a bit loose, but that 31 of Smith holding strong at the top spot. Michael Badra right behind them, not trying to interfere. Xavier sends it in low. Will he be able to hang on to that run? Looks like he'll be able to maintain, but he's not going to build up a big enough run to where it'll help him down this front straightaway. Oh, Xavier with a big dive to the inside. He'll be right at the quarter panel coming up for turn 2. Will he be able to maintain? Yes, he will. They'll be side by side for just a second as they head into 3 and 4. A big power move into 3 for Xavier. Not able to clear. Smith fighting tough on the outside. He'll be able to clear in front of Xavier once again, and Smith back to the point. 5 laps to go this time by. Xavier had a shot right there, wasn't able to pull it off. He's going to try and work what he just did and make another run occur. Smith tried to take that dirty air away from Xavier in 1 and 2 right there, ran a bit lower. What will he do here? Xavier trying to send it in a bit deeper. You saw a little bit of a bobble there on entry. Again, just really maintaining there off of 4 between these top 2 positions. Still separated by about 2 car lengths as they head into 1 and 2. Xavier searching high, just trying to find anything that he can in these next handful of laps. Losing a bit of ground. The gap now separated by 3 car lengths. The battle for 4th also heating up between Ryan Holler and Landon Burbage. Those 2 going back and forth. A little bit of contact right there as they head into 3 and 4. Burbage fighting hard on the middle lane. Ryan fighting hard on the inside. Now Burbage able to clear again for 4th. Ryan still trying to work his way around Burbage though. 2 laps to go this time by for our race leaders, Joseph Smith and Xavier Rugglebruggy. Xavier finding a bit more, able to close that gap down once again to a car length, but not able to close any more. Joseph Smith, Xavier, they're going to work themselves through 3 and 4, and this time by, they will see the white flag in hand, which will mean 1 lap to go this time by for Joseph Smith. Xavier Rugglebruggy has one last shot at the race win. What can he do? White flag in the air. Smith runs low. Xavier runs a groove up, loses a bit of time here. He'll have one last shot as they head down into 3 and 4, separated now by 3 car lengths. Xavier has to send it in deep. Yes, he will, but he's not going to get to the back bumper. Tries to pull it off. Joseph Smith, though, coming off of turn number 4, is going to collect his 4th win at the season here at Kentucky Speedway in the National Stock Car iRacing Series. Smith taking this race win away from Xavier, from what it looked like was going to be an Xavier Rugglebruggy win. Puts himself up at the front and able to hang on to it at the very end. Captures the race win, and now he's going to be able to celebrate here on the start-finish line in front of the crowd. We'll be able to take a second and speak with our race winner here. And we'll give him just a second to get out the race car, then we can speak with our race winner. Don't go anywhere though, guys. Our post-race coverage starts right now for the National Stock Car iRacing Series. You'll hear from some of these drivers, and then we'll look back at the race, and we'll be able to talk about next week as well a bit. So stay tuned here. Again, still waiting on Joseph Smith to get in here so that we can have a moment to speak with him. All right, let's go ahead and get him into the booth here. Joseph Smith coming out with his 4th win on the season. You had Xavier close all over the back bumper on that last green flag run-in. I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised we didn't see that long green flag run speed that we usually see out of you, but you're able to maintain that race lead when it mattered the most, and again, coming home with your 4th win on the season. How did you manage that in those last couple of laps?
I was on my toes the whole time because, you know, we saw Zay. He dominated. He dominated this race. He figured something out that honestly I feel like none of us all did. As you saw, I struggled pretty bad at the first half. I couldn't figure it out. It was so tight, and I would see guys would enter late and then go down. I couldn't do that because it was just so tight. So after the stage, I kind of just did a mental reset. Fresh tires, probably a long run, which is what happened. So just be patient and figure it out. And I was able to keep up with Zay this time. before the first pit stop. My idea was these tires are really sensitive, so like 1-2 lap difference is actually pretty big, and I was hoping to pit only at 1 lap earlier than him, but he stayed out twice. So yeah, I was pooping my pants a little bit about that because he closed like a 4-second gap in like 5 laps. So I was like, "There's no way." But I kind of just started mirror driving. I just wherever he would want to go, I would just try and run it in aero block, and it worked. Um, it feels good to win and get a fourth win, but it kind of sucks I had to win it by aero blocking. But that's just kind of how NASCAR is modern day. So yeah, me and him have been friends for what 6 years now. So yeah, we're always pushing each other to our limits. Whenever he beats me, I was pushing my heart out. Every time I beat him, I have to push my heart out. So yeah.
Yeah, you make a great point right there of pushing each other to the limits. I mean, we've seen you two be 1 and 2 so many times this season so far, and it's really been a back and forth battle between you two. Going, just trading wins, going on win streaks, and you made a good point about that aero blocking and how that affects these race cars. But as we head to Martinsville next week, that's a track where you don't really have as much aero blocking. You do have a little bit of contact that will probably occur. So as you head into Martinsville, is there some sort of hype that you have for that? Or is it maybe one of these tracks where it's like, you're just kind of like, oh boy, here we go again?
The latter. I have like no racing experience at I think the last time I last time I did a race at Martinsville was probably in 2023, and it wasn't even in this car. So yeah, that on top of I personally don't think I'm that good at short track. So those two, I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a learning experience if I don't get wrecked, because we see what happens at Martinsville in real life and in the sim. So honestly, yeah, coming into Martinsville, just make it to the end without the car being destroyed, and hopefully figure out how to be fast there. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, like we were talking about, no aero blocking there, so somebody holds you up, you kind of just gotta move them out the way. So that'll be interesting to see if that happens next week.
Well, Joseph, before I let you go and celebrate the race win here in Victory Lane at Kentucky, is there any shout outs or sponsors you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Fishspeed, all the guys at CHR, Joshua Nunez, Landon Burbage, Xavier Rugger Buggy, all the guys at CZH, Cody Blackmore, Dylan Carrier, Dallas Stewart, and all my friends and family who watch at home.
Alrighty, Joseph, go celebrate your win here at Kentucky, and we will hopefully be speaking to you again next week.
Hopefully, thank you.
That was our race winner, Joseph Smith, able to capture his 4th win on the season here tonight at Kentucky. Dominating last couple of green flag laps for that 31. Did what he needed to do at the very end. A driver who is coming up a little bit short here is Xavier Rugglebruggy. You led a handful, quite a bit of that race, and then at that very last pit stop, just got beat, I'd say, on strategy by a lap, and just were never able to get back in front with that clean air advantage that you had. Is there really anything that you could have done differently in those last 5 to 10 laps?
I feel like if I didn't stay out a lap after Joseph, I stayed out 2 laps. And I thought that would give me a bigger tire advantage over Dylan and Joseph. And I did have a tire advantage. It's just unfortunately this track isn't very racy. So I was struggling to, find a way around him. Led like over half this race, at least 100 laps minimum. I felt like I was the fastest car out there on track. Apparently Dylan, we were just talking, apparently he was faster than us on the long run, but we had already had such a big gap, I feel like it wouldn't have really done much. So yeah, it just kind of sucks because like just leading all these laps just to come up second, it never gets easier to digest these wins. But you know what? You just got to move on and look forward to next week.
Yeah, and you make a good point there. When you're not able to capture a win after leading so much of a race, it definitely stings maybe a little bit more than maybe a race where you lose with just leading maybe the last couple laps. But um, another good thing, maybe either a good thing or a bad thing, is as you head to Martinsville next week, there's not a whole lot of aero or really advantage except for who can really keep the fenders on all the sides of the race cars out there, but also who can be the most aggressive. And I think as we look to you and Smith, uh, so far leading the category with these wins this season so far, are we going to see the aggressiveness out of you at Martinsville next week that we have seen all season, or is this maybe a track where you just kind of want to stay out of chaos and maybe put yourself there at the very end?
No, it's like a one groove racetrack. I'm being aggressive. If I got to move someone, I'm gonna move someone. The bumper is always a great tool at Martinsville. Uh, yeah, just like Joseph, I don't have much experience at Martinsville. But when it comes to short tracks, it seems like I have a bit of an upper hand over him. So, unless if Joseph can't keep up with me, I don't know if anyone will. I'm sure someone will. There's no way. It's Martinsville. I'm sure there's someone in this field that has more experience than me at that track. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Alrighty, well, Xavier, before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shouts you'd like to give?
Well, I mean, first I want to shout out my team. I want to shout out Joseph. I almost moved you. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I kept sending you so many times, but I'm not gonna lie. On that last lap, I was ready to just, maybe a little bumper, maybe hook you on the right rear. You never know. Not trying to get suspended. But hopefully Dylan isn't listening. Obviously, yeah, shout out to all my teammates: Joseph, Landon, Chelsea, Josh, whatever the fuck. Oops, my bad.
Don't
All the guys
worry.
that, yeah, I've just seen people get banned from leagues for doing that. Yeah, shout out to all the guys at CCH, all the guys, all the admins here in the National Stock Car iRacing League. Thank God I didn't get that wrong this time. Thank y'all for putting this on. And yeah, let's go get them next week.
All right, Xavier, thanks for taking a moment to speak with us, and can't wait to see you back at Martinsville.
Yes, sir.
All right, that was Xavier Ruglebrugge, sounding a little bit disappointed and not able to come out with the race win after leading so much of that race tonight. But again, I think it's races like these where it builds you up as a driver to where you're able to not only reflect on maybe something that you could have done differently, but also motivates you a bit more as you head into next week. One driver that, though, has been able to build off of motivation and positivity these last couple of weeks has been Dylan Carrier in this 54 car standing by on pit road. Dylan, well, we talked about it last week, and talked about how this momentum for you has been building up, and you're able to put yourself in a third place finish here tonight at the very end. It looked like you had speed there throughout the night. Do you think you were maybe right there in contention for the race win if we did see another caution, or how do you think this car played out for you tonight?
I definitely feel like I was the best long run car, and I shot myself in the foot when I pit really early there in the final pit stop. Jordan was in racing with my team tonight, like just in the chat, and he called it out as soon as I did it. He goes, "What are you doing?" And it dawned on me. My brain was not working. I was just in I was in race mode. I was just focused on the race, and I wasn't actually paying attention to strategy. And I feel like I shot myself in the foot. Um, I definitely felt like I was the best long run car. My spotter was telling me that I was constantly 2/10 faster than the leaders from about the end of the stage, and then the whole time after that I was consistently faster than Xavier and Joseph. So I felt like I shot myself in the foot. But I mean, I'll take a third place. I'll take a podium for I have not had seat time since Dega. I didn't practice. I didn't put in a single lap of practice, so I'll take it. Could have been worse. So
Yeah, and definitely could have been a lot worse. I mean, you came off of the high momentum after capturing the win at Talladega and at a place like Kentucky. Then as we head to Martinsville, I mean, definitely a lot of positive things to look back after tonight. Obviously, with that strategy call that you might want to go back and do. It's still, I mean, it resulted in a really decent finish for you in this 54 team, and definitely turning on the switch when you need to make it count here. Um, when you head to Martinsville and then you head to Indianapolis in the next couple of weeks, are those good tracks for you as a driver and as a team, and where you can maybe learn something, like again, maybe making a little bit of a different strategy call, or what does it look like for you in these next handful of weeks?
in all the other Martinsville races I've run, I've only actually been good with an open setup that I can sit and tweak myself. And since we're all running fixed setups here, I'm not very good at the fixed setup Martinsville, but I will put in seat time for that. And then Indy Oval, I really like Indy Oval. I don't know if it's been a while since I've raced it in the O'Reilly's car. I almost said Xfinity, the O'Reilly's car, and from what I remember, I was decent. So I'm looking for another top 5 there. And then honestly, I don't even know how many people's going to show up for Martinsville. So I might just have a top 5 locked up just because only 7 people might show up. It's not a very popular track, but looking after that, I don't. Let's see. I'm not really excited for Martinsville because it's either going to be barely any people show up, and it'd be nice and clean because there's not that many people on track, or everyone's going to show up and it's just going to be an absolute wreck fest. We don't have I don't think we have a faster pair for the short tracks. So if we don't, it's just going to be carnage. And then I mean, I'm excited for New Hampshire, one of my better tracks. And then we have another super speedway, which I won Dega. So yeah, the next 4 races are going to be interesting to say the least. I mean, short track, 2.5 mile short track, super speedway, and then road course. So I think we have a good variety of tracks, and the only one I know I'm not going to finish good on is the road course. So.
All right, well, we'll make sure not to put too much pressure on you for the road course, Sid. But definitely sounds like you have another good group of tracks coming up here, and continuing to hold your head high here, Dylan. I don't want to hold you up for too much longer. We're gonna go ahead and let you go here in just a second. But again, congrats on the 3rd place here, and as we go on through the next couple of weeks, I'm excited to see what this momentum can build on for this 54 team.
I just wish it wouldn't have taken me. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Cut you off.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I wish it wouldn't have taken me 10 weeks because this is this is honestly the best car for me. And I mean, I sat and was breaking time attack records before the season started, and then I don't know what happened. I just lost my mojo. So I'm finally getting it back. So I picked a crappy time to figure it out. 10 races in the season, but I think I'm 4th in points. So
better late than never. Better late than never.
Better late than never.
All right, Dylan. Well, before I let you go, is there any sponsors or shots you'd like to give or thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank NJB Designs, Dubby. Oh, sorry. My head hurts. NJB Media or Noah B Media, J Media, whatever Noah's the handle is for his photography stuff. I can't ever remember. It's new. Shout out to you, the guys over at Nitro Racing, and Jordan and Connolly I feel like we've got a good group of guys here that we've brought in, and every week's fun. So just looking forward to the next week.
Alrighty, well, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us, and yeah, again, hopefully we can speak to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, that was Dylan Carrier in the 54, rounding out the top 3, having that momentum built throughout this season. And again, you heard him say his mojo definitely come in to a factor here, even though it is a little bit later than he probably anticipated or wanted. It's definitely coming into his wheelhouse these past couple of races, and well, he could be a threat and make this championship battle between Smith and Xavier not only a 3-car battle, but there is another driver that we could look at to make it a 4-car, and I think Dylan definitely going to have some high speed here these next couple of weeks, and could as well find himself in victory lane. You heard from him though, not at a road course. So we won't, again, we won't put too much pressure on him to do good at a road course, but has some positive tracks looking forward to these next couple of weeks. Let's go ahead and go on to the full race results here. So, Joseph Smith, Xavier Rugglebrugge, and then Dylan Carrier running out the top 3, who we just spoke to a minute ago. Landon Burbridge rounding out in that 4th at the very end, able to hang on to it. Then Ryan Holler finishing in 5th, rounding out the top 5. A great run by Landon and Ryan to put themselves in those positions there at the very end. Battled it out, until the very end, switching back and forth between those positions. John Taylor finding himself in 6th, Cody Blackmore in 7th, Joshua Nunes not having the night that he probably wanted in 8th, Lowry 9th, then Jordan Hand, after having such a great run like we talked about, not able to make up the ground that he lost after having a bad pit stop, rounding out that top 10, and then going on to the last couple of drivers, Michael Badra, Ryan Rose, Christopher Stange, William Connolly, then Dallas Stewart. Dallas Stewart having an early end to his night again, not having things go his way, sitting 110 laps down. Definitely going to need to have some of that luck turned around for this 38 that he has been missing these past couple of weeks. Well, we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap things up here again. We look forward to seeing you guys at Martinsville next week. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a fun race. I'll be honest, I'm a little excited for this. I think we're going to see a lot of battling, beating, and banging, and it's going to be coming down for probably another thriller finish there at Martinsville. That'll be 200 laps, so it's going to be a long race for these drivers. The stage is going to be at lap 100, so they will get at least a break about halfway through, but 100 laps and 100 laps going to be 2 long races to make out that 200 lap feature. So again, Martinsville next week, same time, same place here on Turn Sector Media. Thank you to all you guys out there watching and tuning in each and every week. I appreciate you. I apologize again for those technical difficulties that we had there from about that mid section of the race to just about the very end. Not quite sure what caused it still, so I'll have to go look at it and do some digging, but we look forward to having everything go right next week. And again, shout out to njbdesigns.com for sponsoring this league. I want to be able to put some of their showcasing a little bit better here on this league. I just haven't quite gotten around to it, but again, when I am able to fully finish some of the projects that I've been working on, I think it's going to be a better overall experience for you fans out there watching, and I look forward to introducing that hopefully here soon. Once again, though, I'm Oscar Jensen from the Turn Sector Media booth, bringing you the coverage here tonight from the National Stock Car iRacing Series. We look forward to seeing you guys back here once again next week. And this has been coverage from Kentucky Speedway. Congrats again to Joseph Smith on getting the race win and being able to hold off a hard-charging Xavier Rugglebrugge at the very end when he needed it to happen the most. He found himself making it work, and well, he's got his 4th win on the season, and we'll see if he can back it up next week at Martinsville.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down. The afterchecks are lit. Don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough?
A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total fire.